Hey everyone, this is Ian Miller,
What's going on, guys? It's Andrew.
and welcome to another episode of Media Talk with Miller and Smith. Tonight, we're actually gonna, change things up a bit, especially as the summer is now ending. We're actually gonna take a look back and see which film won the summer box office. Now, as we know, the last year's summer box office was not quite up to par, especially with some of these franchise films.
Right.
Maybe this year uh, we had a good year. So let's find it out.
Before we start, can you believe the summer's over already?
I know, man. I just wish, it lasted longer. I really wish.
Yeah, I know. But everyone's back to school now, so like everyone's back to school, and they think summer's over, but we still got like 10 more days left of
Yeah,
summer. So
yeah. So it's still technically summer, folks. We just gotta squeeze out that little more summer, especially with the baseball season, because my God, you just want, just hear that roar of the crowd at the stadium, the crack of the ball against the bat, just to squeeze out that one last sunrise of summer.
yeah, I mean, my sports update for right now. We have 3 weeks left of the season, so you know, all you, all the Mets fans out there, Mets won 8 in a row, so Mets are looking hot right now.
Yeah,
So let's hope the Mets keep it going. Yankees are still in that playoff spot. They're still in that playoff contention. They did win today, so they've been scuffling a little bit, but um, you know they gotta they gotta get their pitching under control. They gotta do have their offense start hitting and everything like that. So they just gotta keep winning. They've been up and down for the last couple weeks, but you know still believe in the Yankees, still believe in the team. You know, and if the Mets and Yankees both make the playoffs, you never know. Could be a Subway Series, World Series. So you never know.
yeah.
We'll
So
see. Uh,
exciting times.
yeah. Um, you have Aaron Judge. Hopefully locking up that MVP. We'll see. He's playing like an MVP player this year, and so is Lindor. Lindor from the Mets. He's playing like an MVP right now. So we'll see how it works out for both of them, and we'll see what it's like the rest of the year. So,
Well, fingers crossed.
and you got NFL that started. NFL started yesterday. Um, so hopefully this is a good season for the whole NFL. Giants fans, Jets fans, who you guys are. Me as a Giants fan, but but hopefully they both have a better year than last year. But we'll see how that works out. So
Yeah, yeah,
glad to have you back.
yeah. It's funny, when we're always in between, seasons when baseball is just starting to end and football's starting to begin. It
Yeah,
reminds me of George Carlin joke. You know, great comedian George Carlin. He said, "Baseball is played, in a ballpark in spring. Football is played on a field where everything is dying." It's a great joke.
no, it's
I guess I say it public. I say it public.
yeah, no, but yeah. So we'll see what happens down the line in sports, and I'll keep you updated on that. So hopefully we'll see.
So, on to who won the summer box office. Well,
Yes.
it did start off a little rocky, but the first film that actually made serious dent in the box office was Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yes. That was a great movie.
Yes, it was, which is now available on, I believe, Hulu.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it actually made $397 million, pretty good start. I have to admit, pretty good start.
No, absolutely. I would agree on that.
Yeah, you'd hope that a lot of these films, especially films that are part of franchises, would start with those type of numbers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then, of course, you have a couple of newcomers, especially in the action comedy genre. You're hoping they're going to do solid numbers, but unfortunately, they don't quite hit the mark, and that's where the Fall Guy comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've never seen it personally. I never
I,
really saw it.
yeah, I saw it this past weekend. On Peacock, which is available now.
Yeah.
Um, it made me appreciative of the stunt people that makes there are in these movies and shows. Because that's what the movie's about. It's about the stunt people behind these epic blockbusters or television series. Unfortunately, though, despite the impressive stunts, the plot was kind of lackluster, and the film only took in $180.5 million on a $125 million budget.
Yeah, that's not great.
Now, so it took a serious chunk at the box office. No pun intended.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the hits kept coming because Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga, which was out in the first month of the summer, didn't make a lot of money as its predecessor, Mad Max Fury Road did.
Yeah, I mean, as I recall, it only made $172 million.
I gotta tell you, and that should have been an absolute winner because it's a great movie.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it's a little long, but still, it's a great movie.
yeah, I mean, for all, for all you guys who love the Mad Max series, I mean, you guys know what we're talking about. I mean, yes, it's a long movie, obviously, like my friend Ian said. But I enjoyed it because I'm a fan of the Mad Max series.
Yeah,
So, I mean, how could you not love a movie like that? But you know,
exactly.
as we've said in past episodes, it's people don't go to the box office. I'm sorry, theater. I mean,
Yeah, this is the
I mean,
problem.
yeah,
It's a continuing problem. I don't see it's going to be stopping anytime soon. But here's my opinion. If you guys haven't seen Furiosa yet, the best experience I can think of is watching Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga, and Mad Max Fury Road back to back.
yeah.
So that's my opinion about that. So yeah, it only made it underperformed on a huge budget, and it's just a huge shock to me that it didn't make more money. It should have.
No, I totally agree. I thought it was going to at least get up to maybe a little past $400 million,
Yeah.
but clearly not. So I was disappointed on that. But
Eh, what
overall, yeah, overall, I mean, we enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, Disney made some serious money as well this past summer, especially with Inside Out 2.
Yes.
And that was with a huge $1.67 billion.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I mean,
quite real.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, my family saw it. My niece and nephew saw it. They're 10 and 6, so they saw the first one, so obviously they're gonna love this one. Um, but these animated movies, Disney like this, they're bound to make ton of money like this. We all know that.
Oh, absolutely. Especially with a film like Inside Out 2, because the first film had done very successfully well.
Yeah. And believe it or not, I mean, it was number 9 in the box office, and it said it will pass Jurassic World.
And
So
and that's a hard thing to beat because Jurassic World was like $1 billion pretty quickly, like maybe like in the first 3 weeks, if I'm remember
yeah,
this correctly.
yeah. I think it did pass Jurassic World, but yeah, no, you're right. I agree with you 100%.
I have to say that's a very impressive feat.
I mean,
Again, no pun intended.
was there a pun though? Um, yeah,
Mm.
yeah, you added it in there. I know you did. Um, no, but yeah. I mean, like you said, I mean, Jurassic World was a great movie. Obviously, I mean, how could you not love it? But
Yeah.
you know, you have those movies that, obviously the Disney movies that will eventually overtake those movies. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I can imagine what it's gonna be like when Incredibles 3 or even Toy Story 5 comes in the theaters. How much that's gonna make.
Oh,
So yeah,
yeah,
that's another conversation for another day.
yeah. I'm actually waiting. Well, you and me both agree on this that we actually both need to see a trailer before we actually see if we want to see this movie or not. So
Yeah, and we're talking about Toy Story 5, by the way, folks. We love Incredibles 3. Don't get me wrong, we love Toy Story 2, but we felt that the franchise should have ended just at the 3. We didn't really need 4. 4 was kind of an overkill.
well, what do you think 5 is now?
Really an overkill.
Really an overkill. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. So the next one we had was Bad Boys Ride or Die.
Ooh, one of my
Now
favorites.
that had staying power.
Now, was that movie, in your opinion, better than the last one, or was the last one better than this one?
You know what? It's hard to really think about this because I enjoyed the last one a lot, you know, and you know, going to this one, you know, it's like, how can they top this?
Yeah.
I like to think that they did, you know, in terms of plot and story and action, and of course the comedy. My God, you had a lot of huge moments in there, and Captain Howard. My God, you have a whole plot in there, you know, where it's like, boys, if you're watching this, it means I'm dead. I'm like, oh God, we're going in this direction. So it was a great one final performance with Howard in there, and also the plot of our boys getting out of the situation that we're currently in, where suddenly fugitives is. It's always appealing for audiences to see our heroes in a compromised situation.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, you might agree with me on this. You might not. I mean, depending on what your favorite scene of the movie was.
Yeah,
But like my top scene of the movie, obviously you see in this movie that Reggie is actually now in the military.
yeah.
He joined up. Um, so one of my favorite scenes in the movie um, is actually they're on the run. They're running from who's trying to kill them, and there's actually people trying to break into the house.
Oh yeah,
And you actually see Reggie there with the wife and the daughter, and then you just see Reggie just full on kicking ass, man. I mean,
it was fantastic.
yeah. I mean, who knew when you first met Reggie? Who knew, in Bad Boys 2, yeah, like who knew he could do that, you
Yeah,
know? But
but he's a father, he's a family man, he's a husband, and he's gonna do whatever it takes to protect his family.
yeah,
And it really showed. I'm like, I'm thinking if we do a Bad Boys 5, you know, maybe he could be part of it. You know, so you never know.
you never know. But
Yeah.
yeah, that movie made actually $403 million, and that was actually the second best Bad Boys movie in the franchise.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So again, you thought, okay, maybe we just got a slight, bump up into the box office returns, right? And then you had originally Despicable Me 4. It made $914 million.
There you go. There's another one we were talking about.
Yeah. But there is obviously a little bit of a drop, in these billion-dollar franchises. Obviously, mostly due to COVID.
Yeah.
So we're still feeling the effects of that box office, but we're coming back, but it's slow.
Right.
But I say a big but, folks. We have Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oof.
Now we all know about Marvel's past failures in the box office. Now, a lot of them I wouldn't call them failures. To coin the Deadpool in the movie, it was miss after miss after miss after miss. Because at some point, Deadpool Wolverine was just mocking its own publicity.
Yeah.
Like, the whole multiverse saga, it's not great.
No, it's not.
But it was great in the box office. It became the second biggest box office of the summer with $1.27 billion so far. It's still collecting money.
That's insane.
Yeah.
We knew coming into this movie that that this movie was going to be huge.
Yeah.
And there was actually like recent interviews that I saw that actually it wasn't Ryan Reynolds who contacted Hugh Jackman. It was Hugh Jackman that contacted Ryan Reynolds because he wanted to do the third movie with him.
Yeah. So that's a common misconception, folks. So it's actually quite refreshing to see that Hugh wanted to be the one, in the movie, with Ryan. So, and it didn't disappoint. It really didn't disappoint.
No, it didn't. And I'm just checking to date the current box office numbers. It is actually at 1.268 billion dollars.
That is a lot of money.
$1.268 billion. That's crazy.
Yeah, folks. That is the box office money for Marvel Studios. So
Yeah.
they're starting to get back, a lot of the money they lost in some of these other, movie box office failures. Again, I wouldn't call them failures; they just didn't work.
Yeah. I think we can pretty much talk about the cameos now. I'm pretty sure a lot of people saw the movie already.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, my favorite cameo in the movie was Chris Evans as Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that last time, but
yeah, I saw the movie with my dad and my godfather this past weekend. They thoroughly enjoyed it.
yeah,
My dad laughed hysterically loud when he saw that it was Johnny Storm instead of Captain America. He was just fantastic.
yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's you seen that actual scene where Wade is actually thinking Chris Evans is going to say the line from
Yeah.
Captain America, but it's actually what Johnny Storm says. So that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Which actually asks the question, what happened to the rest of the Fantastic Four? So, but we know what happened with the rest of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. What was also great about that was seeing Jennifer Garner as, of course, Elektra.
Yep. And Wesley Snipes is Blade.
I had missed those two, characters, especially the performances.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they really haven't missed a beat.
Yeah.
After all the years. I mean, you see Jennifer Garner still doing what she did in Daredevil. So,
And she's still a badass.
oh, 100%.
And of course, Wesley Snipes is Blade. Blade really kickstarted, I think, the Marvel universe, back in '98, because they weren't making Marvel movies and, at the big companies. So
Yeah.
it's testament that that movie got made. And yeah, it was great seeing him again.
Yeah, and then you had Channing Tatum as Gambit.
I loved his Gambit. I really did. I was like, they should have made him in a movie. They should have made his Gambit in a movie or brought his Gambit in the X-Men series, but they never did.
No, I mean, you know that this was a dream role come true for him. Like he wanted to play Gambit for a long time.
Yeah, I was pleased that he got to play it finally.
Yeah. Which brings me to the point for 1 second. I just have to ask you if you saw that deleted scene with him.
Oh yeah, he survived. Oh, did we just blow your minds, folks? I'm so sorry,
dude. I'm sorry, guys.
You had 2 weeks, folks. You had 2 weeks.
So now the question remains: where does his character now go from here, if he even comes back?
I think he could awesome. I think if Marvel's smart, I think they should do a Gambit movie right now.
Oh, I agree.
Or at least include him in whatever version of the X-Men they're going to be bringing into the cinematic universe.
Yeah, he could actually be included in that. So, why
Sure.
not?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Marvel, we're talking to you. So,
yeah. Yeah, one of the other surprise cameos on there, obviously, with Matthew McConaughey as one of the Deadpool variants.
Yep. And
is that him? Yeah, it's him.
And actually, his Ryan Reynolds' wife, Blake Lively, the talented Blake Lively, was Lady Deadpool.
I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen. People kept saying, "Oh, it's her or Taylor Swift." Like, no, there's no way. It's got to be Blake Lively.
It's Blake Lively.
Yeah. And I'm glad that she mentioned this, especially when you have Hugh Jackman as Wolverine again in the actual suit, the costume that he's known for.
Yeah.
And even Deadpool's like, took him 20 years. Finally.
No, I'm sure he said to himself he wanted to wear the suit. So
yeah. And especially wearing the mask, I was like, wow. That's fantastic. Finally.
Took him 20 years?
Yeah.
20 years. But better late than never, I guess. Is what
yeah. We don't know exactly what Deadpool's role is going to be for the rest of the cinematic universe. Maybe he might show up in either one of the Avengers movies. We'll see.
Or he could be, part of the new X-Men also. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Although if he's included in the new Avengers movie, he's got to drop down the F-bombs. I think the boots will be funny.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I think, truthfully, they just did this movie rated R because I think they kind of had to do it.
But yeah, that's the character.
Yeah, but if you're teaming up with all these other Avengers, you kind of have to dial it down. It's not your own anymore.
Just bleep it. It's funny. It'll be funny. Trust me. Yeah, I watched the rest of them all. It's pretty funny once the bleep thing will be here.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Okay. So that was a huge contribution to the summer box office, but it was not the only one. We had Twisters.
Yes, Twisters. I actually enjoyed that more than I thought I would. So.
Yeah. Obviously, it's a sequel to the 1996 classic Twister.
Yeah.
It's not a sequel. It's set in the same universe, obviously, but it's not a direct sequel to that movie. So you folks really don't need to see the first movie to see the second to appreciate it. But yeah, it just goes to show you that there are people that chase these type of storms.
Yeah.
The chaos that ensues from these twisters, my God.
I mean, I really don't know how, if I would be able to do a thing like that. I mean, you
Yeah,
really need to have that, that fire in you, that, what's the word I'm looking for? Um,
that drive, that
yeah,
you have to be brave, but you have to be a little nuts to do something like that.
right.
But yeah, I was very impressed with the movie, just like I was with the '96 movie. But yeah, this was fantastic. But I think these films also help create awareness, especially for our environment. As Mother Nature is, ever evolving, very unpredictable.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, with the first one, you didn't really know if, like this kind of like that kind of movie, you never would think like they would make a sequel out of that.
Yeah,
Because there's a bunch of these movies where you never think they would make a sequel, but they find a way to come up and make a sequel somehow. So, I mean, with this movie, whether there'll be a third one, I mean, you don't know.
yeah. They kind of did leave it, at the end, up to your imagination, but
Yeah.
who can say? Yeah. And the film actually made $363 million. I recognize it's not as much as Deadpool and Wolverine, but it made a chunk of change. So
No, I mean, you can't really compare the two. I
yeah,
mean,
exactly.
but I mean, with the amount of money that Twisters made, I mean, it's still a pretty good return for what they did. So
Yeah. Now, of course, during the summer box office, there's also potential for new
yeah,
tentpole franchises, especially establishing new ones.
yeah,
Which then brings us back to the video game territory. Now we've had recent, examples where video games actually can make money in the box office.
yeah,
Super Mario Brothers, Uncharted. The Sonic films are, fantastic. With a third one coming out,
right.
which now brings us to Borderlands. I said from the very beginning that the film was overproduced. Good cast, but way overproduced, and only brought $31 million at the box office.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like you said. I mean, it's you really have to judge whether you want like whether these video game movies are actually good to see. I mean, it's like you said. You listed the Uncharted ones. Stuff like that, which kind of actually brings you back to, the Assassin's Creed movie,
Oh God,
which didn't do well either.
oh
I
my
mean,
God, and that was released in August as well as I remember correctly.
yeah,
Oh, just bad, just bad, bad movie, just bad. You know how bad it was, folks? It was 1993 Super Mario Brothers movie bad. Well, maybe not that bad.
well, I was gonna say that's like you're comparing that to like the worst movie you saw. So
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was that bad, but it was still pretty bad.
fair enough.
Then, of course, August also saw the release of the Crow reboot.
Yeah,
Now, I had to say this. I don't know what they were thinking to do a reboot for the Crow. The 1994 film, starring Brendan Lee, was a classic. It's still beloved, and any of the sequels that they made, which was direct-to-video sequels, I might add,
yeah,
were lackluster. It just seems to me they haven't perfected the formula that the '94 film already perfected. They should have
right.
just left it alone. And that's based on a comic book series about the character named Craven that comes back from the dead to revenge, his loved ones against his murderers. A crow actually brings him back to life until his mission's completed.
Oh, that's fun.
It's a very good movie. You can probably find it on any of the streaming services.
Yeah.
And it was Brandon Lee's last movie because he passed away tragically during the making of that.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to watch The Crow, go watch the 1994 one. It's the best one.
I would trust him, folks. I would trust him on that one because he knows better on that. So
yeah, the reboot made only $18 million. This is completely atrocious. Absolutely atrocious, which really begs the question whether or not Hollywood has a handle on reboots. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of reboots have been very successful in the box office, but you have to be careful with certain ones. You have to make sure that the story or the casting or the direction is strong enough to warrant a reboot. Because if not, if you're half-assing it, it's not going to work.
No, I agree.
But there's also properties that should just leave alone. This was definitely one of them.
Yeah, I mean, there's movies that you and I saw that if they ever did like reboots of it or remakes or whatever it was, we would hope they never do it. But if they ever did, you'd have to have the perfect casting, if they ever did it. If not, you're just totally ruining the franchise or 3 movie sequels or 2 movie, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's like remaking Back to the Future. It can't be done. It can't be done.
No.
And it shouldn't be done. Shouldn't be done either. So Universal, if you are thinking of rebooting that, don't do it. Don't do it.
No, it should. I agree. It should never be done. It was perfect casting, perfect storylines. It was,
yeah,
one of the best. So should not.
Now, exactly. So now you thought that would be the end of the box office because we're now in late August, but you're wrong. We have Alien Romulus. Now this actually had an $80 million budget. And it's inching close to 300 million. That's pretty impressive, especially when it's not really a reboot of the franchise; it's a continuation of the prequels.
Yeah, it's set between the first and second movie.
Yeah, and the director was very hesitant on doing more practical effects on the set.
Yeah,
as well as returning to its horror genre with a mix of the aliens action.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I mean, there were. I'm actually glad you actually convinced me to go. On some part, but like, I mean, you saw. I mean, like when the movie was done, I was like, I don't know. I was like, so it was so intense. It was so um so freaky at points.
Yeah. Well, he'd obviously seen the aliens, the xenomorphs before, because he actually saw Alien. I showed him that, at I think one of our hangouts. Then you saw Alien versus Predator, one of those movies, so you knew what the creature looked like.
Yeah.
But you just didn't count on that, just how intense, the face hugger, the chest burster scenes were. Except with the first one, you knew that right away.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, I knew what the chest bursters, looked like and like how they would do it. So I was pretty used to that.
Yeah, what was interesting was when I was going back to watching the making of the Romulus. Also, they used a lot of model work in there, so the director was really, obviously encouraging to use practical and model effects. Obviously, they'll use CGI, obviously, to enhance that. But I think it's good that they went back to practical and model effects because it has a realistic look to it.
No, definitely.
Yeah, and it's this was such a refreshing entry in the Alien franchise because with Alien Covenant, it was a good entry, but it wasn't what the audiences was expecting. This was, and there's now even talk about possibly, and again, this is only rumor. I can't not confirm or deny this. Possibly revisiting the Sigourney Weaver Ellen Ripley character, possibly in a later sequel. So I think they should revisit those Alien 5 planes that they had when Alien Covenant was in pre-production.
Yeah, I mean, she did. I did see an article earlier in the week or last week that she was interested in coming back for another Alien movie.
Yeah.
So,
So I would consider that 20th century if you're watching. But again, we're not going to influence you. You'll figure out what to do.
but I mean, you and I, you and I have said this. If she actually does want to come back, they're gonna have to pay her a ton of money for
Oh
her.
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. She ain't cheap, folks. She ain't cheap. She deserves every single penny.
100%. I mean, bring her back. That's up to you guys now. So
Yeah, I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be a cool one. Or get up against the aliens again. Come on, no brainer. Yeah. So, which now begs the question: which movie won the summer box office?
let us know in the comments, folks.
Yeah.
Which movies, if you've seen any of them, which movies do you think won the summer box office of 2024?
Now, I'm pretty sure I'm going to say that most of the comments are going to be about Deadpool, Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
Of
Yeah,
course, some might argue it was Inside Out 2 or even Alien Romulus because it's still making money in the box office. But I got a good feeling it's going to be Deadpool, Wolverine.
yeah. I would probably take that bet. I mean, you could also have Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes there too, so
Yeah.
they could have comments on that as well. So
Well, we'll see.
yeah. So now the question is, what comes next in 2024? What movies come next? Ian?
Well, this obviously this weekend is Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. I'm not saying it the third time. I'm not saying it the third. Yeah, this has been a sequel that's been a long time coming because they have been in development for a Beetlejuice sequel since the first film came out. There was actually, a series of scripts that were written. Beetlejuice goes to Hawaii,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's very gratifying to see Tim Burton return to this franchise, and also seeing it's being well reviewed and it's returned to the director's form. So I'm like, okay, this has to be seen. Then we have to see this.
Yeah, I saw there was an interview with Michael Keaton earlier in the week, and they asked him, what did it feel like to put the Beetlejuice suit back on? And he was like, he was like, oh, I don't really remember like the exact words, but I do remember him saying, oh, it was fun. It was fun. It was very fun.
Well, yeah, because he gets to do that physical and also physical comedy that they did in the movie. So
Yeah.
it's always great seeing Michael in a comedic role. Um, I was actually telling you this the other day when I recommended The Paper, even though it's a comedy drama.
Yeah.
Some solid, funny scenes that Michael does. He's a terrific performer.
No, 100%. But yeah, I'm very excited to see Beetlejuice. I'll
Yeah,
stop at the third one.
yeah. Don't want to call what's his name. So yeah. But it looks like it's going to be a solid opening weekend for that, so that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it's actually looking to open to $150 million this weekend. So
That's still pretty good. That's pretty good, especially for opening weekend. And of course, we have Transformers 1. We'll see how that goes.
I gotta tell you, they gotta stop making these Transformer movies.
Yeah, I'm kind of tired of it. I mean, come on, enough of this already.
I stopped after the first Mark Wahlberg movie.
Yeah, you didn't even see the next one.
I never saw his last one, so I'm like, they really need to. Once I saw the reviews of the second one, I'm like, they really need to stop with this movie.
Yeah, and please stop giving Michael Bay Transformer movies. Just stop. Yeah, twice was enough. The first two, enough. That was enough.
I think they kind of pushed it with the third one, but
Oh, they did, and I didn't even see the third one.
I saw it for like 10 minutes and then I stopped.
No.
I didn't even watch the whole entire thing. So
Yeah. Then, of course, we have a new one, A Wild Robot. That's another animated movie from DreamWorks.
mm-hmm.
Hopefully, that's a hit. It looks interesting enough, but hopefully, it's a hit. And then we have Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis. I've seen the trailer a couple of times now. What is it? I don't know. I don't know. It.
You really couldn't say.
Yeah. I'm a bit worried about Coppola. I'm a bit worried because obviously he spent the last, I'd say, 10 years re-editing the Godfather movies. You didn't need a re-edit. It was already great. They were already great. Well, the re-edit for Part 3 was definitely needed.
Yeah.
Because I actually like the new version of Part 3 of Godfather. The first two, fantastic classics. You don't need to change it. But I'm very worried about Megalopolis because it has $120 million budget, and I'm not impressed with some of the effects that they have on there. So I'm gonna hold my opinion about it until I see the movie.
That's fair.
And of course, we've got Gladiator 2. Ridley. Why do we have a sequel to this?
It's not even with Russell Crowe.
Well, Russell Crowe's character's dead.
Yeah, I know. Oops.
Did I just ruin that? I'm so sorry, folks. I'm so sorry.
Dude, why do you keep ruining movies?
Well, the movie's been out since 2000, so if you haven't watched it yet, which I recommend, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Oh, go and watch it. But yeah, there is that. And of course, we have Joker 2.
That I didn't even see the first one. So yeah, I'm probably most likely not going to see it.
Yeah.
They're saying this movie is a musical, but Joaquin Phoenix saying it's not a musical. So I don't know.
Very conflicting reports.
Yeah.
It does look interesting. I might see it. I don't know yet. I might.
Yeah.
I'll let you know if I do.
Yeah, of course. If you go, maybe I'll check it out with you or something.
Yeah. Then, of course, we have Venom: The Last Dance in October.
That is actually his last dance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think he actually shows up in the MCU, or do you think it's just this movie and then he's done?
I don't know. It's very interesting where the movie's gonna go. Everyone's speculating about it, but I'm like, let's just see what happens.
Yeah, true. I mean, yeah, this is actually the first movie that Michelle Williams is actually not in.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure maybe they'll bring it up in the next movie, what happened to her, or maybe not. But I don't know. Maybe she married Dan and just went off somewhere. So
You know, she and Eddie was never going to get back together. You know what?
yeah,
I think he knew it too. He really messed up.
yeah, he did.
It's a shame.
Yeah,
And of course, we have some of the horror movies in late October: Piece by Piece and Smile 2. I don't know about Piece by Piece, but I have to ask, why is there a sequel to Smile 2? What was the thought process on that? Who greenlit this sequel?
because they can.
I gotta tell you, I saw the first one, it didn't scare me. There wasn't even jump scares. I was like, this is the problem, folks. When you're a writer, you know where the jump scares are.
Yeah,
There is a formula to there. I didn't recognize an Alien Ramos, but I didn't care about that. You know, I didn't
yeah,
care. I was just enjoying it. And I tried to like Smile. I really did try to like it, but I was like, something was missing.
doesn't work. Yeah,
And I can't blame the filmmakers. I really can't blame them. Because they did a good job. Especially with the makeup effects and also with the story and all that, and the actors. They did great performances, but it was just kind of lackluster. So why make a sequel? They smell a horror franchise.
yeah.
But I hope it's a big box office hit for them. But yeah, that's what's coming up next. What happens in November, December? We don't know yet.
No, we don't. So we'll see. We'll see what happens at the end of the year. When movies are out. If not, you know, we'll see what's up next year. But
Yeah. Before we actually end this evening, I did actually get a chance to watch a Netflix show that I'm still thinking about. It's Terminator Zero. It's
yeah,
actually set in the Terminator franchise. I'll give you a little bit of background about it. I won't give it too much away because I'm pretty sure people are still watching it. The story takes place in alternate 1997, just before Judgment Day actually happens.
yeah,
And of course, a Terminator is sent back in time to stop whatever happens in the alternate 1997, and a lone survivor is sent back in as well to deal with the Terminator and stop whatever's happening in the past, right?
yeah,
They do change it up a little bit because they do give, thoughts on the previous entries in the franchise, especially with the idea of sending a Terminator back in time to stop, or kill somebody. What they brought up was an interesting point because time isn't linear, right? You can't really go back from one point into the past, from the present to the past, to try to stop that without creating another timeline.
yeah,
So Skynet is thinking three-dimensional, not fourth-dimensional. They understand the science; they just don't quite understand the way they should understand it. No matter how many times you go back in time to try to, kill whoever it is or stop whatever happens, you got to create alternate timelines, and therefore create the Terminator verse.
that's why you should never go back in time.
Yeah, we we learned it in Back to the Future. We didn't listen then. Learned it in the Flash. We didn't listen then. Don't go back in time, no matter how tempting it is.
What was it that Doug Heffernan said from King of Queens?
You not mess with the fabric of time. Is the one thing we learned from Back to the Future? It's that.
Yeah. So
He was right. He was right.
he was right. He was right.
Yeah, the series actually has 8 episodes, but it does leave space that maybe there could be a season 2. I don't know, but we'll see. The animation was fantastic. The story was fantastic. So if you ever watch it, Smith, I would recommend watching that.
Yeah, I'll probably check it out this weekend. I'll
Yeah,
uh I'll watch it, and then I'm sure you know we we know how this Terminator franchise, how it ended. We the movies were a little bit too much, but
well, the later ones.
well, the later ones, yeah. But
They should have stopped after 2. That was it.
yeah, I mean, I didn't mind 3, but they really didn't need 3 when I saw it. So
Nobody likes watching the end of the world. Nobody likes watching it.
no, no,
Salvation was just okay because you're in the trenches. You're just dealing with this apocalyptic world that you had to battle these cyborgs. Then with Genesis, you're like, okay, you're starting over from scratch, but you're changing the future again.
I mean, who has the hero as the bad guy?
And
I
you
mean,
know what? You know what makes me mad? The people in marketing actually leaked this in this one of the trailers. I'm like, you did this way too early. That should have been a big reveal in the movie.
yeah,
So, editors for movie trailers, whatever franchise or brother film that you have big twists, don't reveal them in the trailers. Just don't.
yeah,
Because you
don't
just ruin the movie for the fans, and you're just going to alienate the fans. So don't do it.
don't do it. I 100% agree. You just give the movie away, and then it'll prove our point. People will not want to go to the theaters to see it. So
Exactly.
if you
Exactly.
do that, you just totally just ruined it. So
Yeah. So just don't do it. Just don't do it.
um, one more thing. Well, one more thing on my end before we end the show.
Mhm.
There was an article that was out today. One of my favorite shows, um, Bosch Legacy, will actually be ending its run after season 3. For all of you Bosch fans out there, personally for me, I loved Bosch. Bosch was, one of my favorite shows when it was on, and then when they announced the spinoff, you know, I was really excited with him coming back and seeing where his story goes. Um, I mean, I guess they decided to, you know, I guess they thought it was time for the show to end. I guess his character to end.
It's sad to say goodbye to one of the best written TV characters, especially after 7 seasons on the original series, then 3 seasons on this one. But I was grateful for the ride. It was a great ride.
Yeah, I mean, you had Titus Welliver, who's a great actor.
Yeah,
Um, I believe he played Lex Luthor, right? I think.
yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
He also played Carmine Falcone in Batman Long Halloween animated movies, as well as Rorschach in Watchmen Parts 1 and 2.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, but he's a great actor, and he really he to me, I mean, I think he really is Harry Bosch. I mean,
yeah,
he played the character so well, and I'm just, I really enjoyed his character, and I'm just sad to see him go. But
yeah. Um, was a great series, and either way, Tyus, we wish you well.
yeah, if there's a show for, you know, if all you fans out there who have not seen it, if there's a show that you really want to check out, and all the action and all the comedy stuff, there is comedy in there. I would definitely recommend Bosch. So
Absolutely.
top show up there. So yeah,
Well, I think that's going to be it for us tonight. I'm Ian Miller,
I'm Andrew Smith.
and this has been Media Talk with Mo Smith. Have a good night, folks.
And I guess.
If you'd like to follow us on YouTube, just hit that like button and subscribe.